Tonight on Nightline, Faceoff. Does Satan exist? It just might be the most passionate theological debate. In a world where evil surrounds us, is Satan to blame? Or is the Prince of Darkness just a myth? The players, a preacher and a former prostitute, versus a so-called heretic and Deepak Chopra. It's the believers against the non-believers. The critical questions, the heated exchanges.
No, I don't need the devil because I don't have the guilt and shame that you people have.
A special face-off edition of Nightline begins right now.
From the global resources of ABC News with Terry Moran, Martin Bashir, and Cynthia McFadden in New York City, this is Nightline, March 26, 2009.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Terry Moran. There is no debating the existence of evil in this world, but does Satan exist? Now, that's a much different issue. Satan is an integral part of Christianity, and over millennia, he's become a common character in popular culture. He's the very face of evil. But for every believer in the Prince of Darkness, you will likely find a skeptic, someone who argues that Satan is a fictional, mythical creation, and perhaps a dangerous one at that. Well, we wanted to learn more about both sides of this passionate issue, so we set up a debate. Our Dan Harris now with the Nightline Face-Off. Does Satan exist?
Satan is a fixture in popular culture.
What have you done to him, you maniac?
Satan is his father, not Guy.
From Rosemary's Baby
Oh, God!
to The Exorcist
But deliver us from the evil one. Save me, O God, by thy name.
to South Park.
Fallen one, I am Satan. I am your God now.
Whether the object of derision or dread, Satan is an undeniably powerful concept. According to one poll, 70% of Americans believe Satan is real. Some believe he, and almost all believers say Satan is a he, is a fallen angel. Others believe Satan is a shapeless, malevolent force, the enemy of God. But there are also many people who believe that Satan is a myth, and a dangerous one, because Satan's name is often invoked to justify unspeakable acts of violence. This question of whether Satan exists is one of the most contentious theological debates possible. And we have brought four fascinating, polarizing people from all over the country here to the city of Seattle to have it out.
When I say devil, I'm including Satan and demons.
Arguing that Satan does exist is Pastor Mark Driscoll.
Going to teach God's people the secret of the Bible. The secret of the Bible is Jesus.
He is the hip yet hardline preacher with a young, often tattooed following to whom he preaches a strict doctrine in which the devil figures prominently.
Those who preach a false gospel are demonically inspired.
We are holding the debate at Driscoll's Mars Hill Church, where volunteers and security guards are preparing for a crowd of more than 1,000 people expected to fill the hall tonight.
I know the topic's about Satan, but there's one who defeated him, and that's the one I'm really interested in talking about.
I don't have a theologian background, but I've got 16 years of experience walking with the devil, so I know he's real.
Driscoll's teammate for the evening is Annie Lobert, who arrived in Seattle earlier in the day from Las Vegas. Lobert is a former prostitute who says she used to see the devil in the eyes of her Johns, her clients. Her organization, Hookers for Jesus, now ministers to sex workers.
Listen, I think you're beautiful.
Thank you.
And I used to be a bad girl. And I just want to let you know God loves you.
When people don't believe that the devil's real, I feel, my opinion is that they're deceived, because I was deceived.
Half that crowd tonight is going to defend the devil like they defend Jesus. They're going to be champions, not for Jesus, champions for the devil.
On the other side of the debate tonight is Bishop Carlton Pearson, a former fundamentalist preacher who used to cast demons out of his followers.
I was a staunch, holiness of hell, believe it our way or go to hell preacher for the first half of my life. I mean, I sat, and I never liked it.
When Pearson had a change of heart several years ago, declaring that he no longer believed in the devil or hell,
We have bought into certain mental positions that really don't make spiritual or ethical sense.
he was called a heretic and he lost his church. Tonight, he will claim that Satan is not real.
Think about the fires of hell and the smoke, vapor and smoke and all that stuff. And we're so intrigued with that.
Hi.
Your Excellency.
How are you, sir?
Carlton Pearson, how are you, sir?
Arguing alongside Bishop Pearson is Deepak Chopra.
My position is that we have a huge problem of what people call evil in the world, and they need a good rational explanation, not an irrational mythical explanation based on primitive ideas.
Chopra is a physician and a best-selling author of dozens of books and videos exploring health and spirituality.
Come with me on a journey into the mind of God.
I think there's a global shift in religious sensibilities.
Chopra, Pearson, and Lobert are making their way to the church.
The devil is absolutely real.
Meanwhile, Pastor Driscoll is checking out the growing crowd.
Just pulling in.
If Jesus talks about Satan and the reality of hell, then it must be true.
I guess if Satan himself shows up and there he is, then I will say, well, I guess you're right.
So how do you prepare for something like this?
Study, pray, drink Red Bull, go.
I caught up with the participants behind the scenes while they were making last-minute preparation.
It could get intense, it could get passionate.
You think you can change any minds?
I think so.
Definitely. I read recently that when you showed up to speak somewhere, there were protesters outside that were calling you Satan?
Yeah, I frequently get called the Antichrist.
He thinks your view of the world is dangerous, and you think his is dangerous and wrong.
Yeah.
Do either of you get nervous walking into a room where there are going to be a lot of very, very religious people who strongly and profoundly disagree with what you're about to say?
Now I'm a heretic in many of their minds, so this is a little bit more of a challenge.
With the church now at capacity, the two teams meet for the first time backstage. In a few moments, they'll take the stage for a debate that will very quickly get heated.
So now we've met the players. On one side, a pastor and a former prostitute who believe in God and preach Satan's existence. On the other side, a minister and spiritual thinker who disregard the devil. They think he's a myth. With a diverse crowd representing many views assembled, let the debate begin. We return now to moderator Dan Harris at the Mars Hill Church.
The church is packed with more than 1,000 people with radically different beliefs. And we are about to start what will be a contentious debate on the existence of Satan. Good evening and welcome to a Nightline Faceoff. Our question tonight is a very provocative one. Does Satan exist? It is entirely possible that there are people here on this stage with me tonight who believe that others on the stage are doing, if only unwittingly, the work of Satan. It is also possible that there are people on this stage who believe that believing in Satan is dangerous, wrong, and destructive. So let's get right to the discussion, and we're going to start with opening statements. Right away, all four lay out uncompromising positions.
Satan was an angel who rebelled against God. In so doing, led an insurrection. Other angels followed him. Our first parents joined that rebellion, and ultimately that is the cause of moral evil. It is rebellion against God.
Healthy people do not have any need for Satan. Healthy people need to confront their own issues, and that all the trouble in the world today is between religious ideologies. So I would say, be done with Satan and confront your own issues.
I am a former escort, prostitute, stripper, what have you. And there night came in my life where I faced death. I OD'd on cocaine because I hated myself. And I kept hearing voices to tell me to kill myself. There was no reason to go on. And I know that wasn't coming from inside of me. There was a diabolical force speaking to me. And I truly believe it was the devil and his demons.
It's awkward for me to be here tonight because I'm from 4 generations of demon caster outers. And I think that the best way to get people free is to get them to stop believing so much in this hairy, horny, freaky, scary, omnipresent entity. And it will not manifest the way we have believed it to.
Now, the question.
Pastor Mark, if God is a loving God, why would he create Satan?